All right, now that the lens cap is off, Bubba, on this episode of Unbillable, we're talking about motivation. It's Motivation Monday, baby. Let's get it. Bubba, it's important that you get this on camera. It's raining in the desert.
What?
And I mean, when I say raining, I mean, it's like, I think I might have felt a droplet, like a little, this might not even count as rain. Like, I'm outside and I'm not wet. You're not seeing it ruin my shirt. But in the desert, anytime there's any moisture from the sky, anything less than like a blue sky, I mean, frankly, some days it's only cloudy and we call it raining, all right? So today definitely counts as raining. And when it's raining here in the desert, that means it must be just absolutely horrendous wherever you are. So with that, let's get into what we're gonna talk about today, which I wanna talk a little bit about motivation. Like, it's interesting to me because I don't think of myself as being all that motivational, but when I talk to other people in the real world, right, like non-clients and not other attorneys, I start to recognize that people kind of need motivation. And then it started the other day when your cousin was in our office, and we'll get back to that at the end. I was in a P.F. Chang's yesterday, grabbing some food on my way home, and I started talking to the bartender there, and his name was Jake, a real nice guy. Jake, if you're watching, I hope you're watching. You said you're gonna subscribe. He told me that he has some like bigger plans, like he doesn't wanna be a bartender forever, and he's got some big plans, but then his big plan was to be a police officer, and that's a great career, that's a great profession, but it sounded like he didn't really want to do it. So I started asking him, like, is that really what you want to do? And he told me he came from a family of police officers, and it was something that he always thought he wanted to do, but as he got to learn more about it, like through the training and things like that, it wasn't necessarily something he wanted to do. So I started asking him, well, what do you like to do with your free time? Like, what do you want to actually do with your time? And his answer had something to do with professional video game playing. And I mean, who doesn't want to play video games professionally? Like, a lot of us want to do that, and only a few of us get to make it. But one of his really good friends already has like this business operating where he plays video games for a living. Now, like, as an attorney, playing video games for a living sounds fantastic. A lot more of my hair would probably be black if I played video games for a living. Regardless of that, the real idea is, so what are you doing to make it happen? I asked him, like, what are you doing to make it happen? What are you doing today? What did you do yesterday to make that happen? And I mean, obviously he's working as a bartender at P.F. Chang's. I know making drinks or bringing me some of that bomb-ass Mongolian beef isn't gonna be what's doing, or what's gonna get him to do what he wants to do, but what small steps are you doing in your free time? Like, for example, I always wanted to open my own law office. When I was in law school, I used to tell my fellow students, my fellow classmates, I should say, that I wanted to open my own law practice. Like, I didn't care that much about on-campus interviewing because I cared more about how I could learn the skills necessary to open my own law practice. So when I finished law school, I took a job that I thought would help me see how to run and operate a law practice. I didn't go for the most money. You see what I mean? I took steps that would help me get to where I wanted to go in the long term, not in the short term. And so I asked Jake, I said, what are you doing? And he said, really nothing. I said, well, what do you need to do? He said, well, I need a computer. I said, okay, so a computer's gonna cost money. You work here. Are you saving up money for the computer? And he kind of answered, not really. And so I said, well, why don't you start doing that? Why don't you just start saving up some of your money for the computer? And like, don't get me wrong, I know it's not always that easy. You gotta pay for your like home expenses. You gotta pay for your own life. You gotta pay for, like, you know, your girlfriend wants to go to dinner, your girlfriend wants to go to the movies, maybe you wanna go to the movies, maybe you wanna go to the game with your boys. I mean, I get it, there's gonna be life expenses, but are you putting away a couple bucks, $5, $10? Are you putting away $100 a month? Are you putting away anything? Are you even trying? What about the times where there's anything going on and you don't spend that money on fun stuff? Do you save it for that thing that you want? Like for me, I saved a bunch of money up, and then when I quit my job when I was working for another law firm, I used that money I had saved to pay for my legal assistant and my rent because, I mean, true story, the first 6 months my office was open, we didn't have any clients, we didn't have anything going on. So I had to pay things out of pocket to get, you know, to get it going, to get it up and running. And so I guess what I've been trying to tell people is you're gonna have to start to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to start to save some way, somehow. You have to find a way to do what you wanna do. It's not just gonna happen. It's just not gonna materialize out of nothing. Like, I had to go to law school to become a lawyer. It didn't happen out of nowhere. But like, to be a lawyer, there's a very set path. To be a whatever you wanna be might not be such a set path. But you gotta figure out what you gotta do. You gotta get there. And like, so when I give these, I guess they're motivational, but I don't think of it as motivational. I think of it as like common sense about life. When you want to ride a bike as a kid, I use this example all the time, and I used it on you, Jake, so I'm gonna repeat it here. Hopefully you're watching. When you want to ride a bike as a kid, you don't think about how you could fall down. I mean, one of the joys of being a child is that they don't actually understand the risk involved when they do something. When you're like 3 or 4-year-old dives off the couch, they don't think about how they could break their neck, break their arm, hurt themselves. They're just trying to have fun. They're just daredevils and crazy. And when you ride a bike, like me, I wanted to learn how to ride a bike because I wanted to be able to get to the grassy field and play with the other kids, right? And you couldn't just go there without a bike. You had to be able to get there, right? So it's like, take the training wheels off. I want to learn how to ride the bike. The focus is 100% on riding the bike. When you want to learn how to ride a bike, the focus is 100% on riding the bike. I've yet to meet a child learning to ride a bike who says to me, I could hurt myself, what if I fall down? They know they could fall down, but their focus is on what they want, which is to ride the bike. And so what I'm trying to get across is, if you want to be a professional video game player and you're going to need a computer to record yourself playing video games, then it's time for you to start doing the things necessary for you to get that computer. And it's easy for you to say that you can't. Like, it's really easy to say that you can't, but you can. You could save $1 a day. You could save $0.25 a day. You could save $50 a week. It could be a lot, it could be a little, but you could do it. You just got to actually believe in yourself, and you got to actually start trying to do it. And then over a long term, something good will come of this. I'm in my 9th year. My law office will turn 10. My law office will turn 10 this summer. And this is only, we've been doing this for a few months only. It's not like I just showed up and said, hey, I can tell people how to do stuff. I got years in this. I've been practicing law since 2004, and I've had the benefit of learning from other clients and other people and seeing what they're doing to get to the goals that they want, and then it made me look back. But then I look at myself and I thought, well, I wanted to be a lawyer, and there was actually a path to do it, and I followed that path. But for a lot of people, the path isn't always that clear. You might be able to see little parts of it, but go after those little parts. And so, like, you know, Bubba, we gotta be able to use that 11-year-old, that footage I had with your cousin who was 11. So put that in right here, because this 11-year-old, he told me he wanted to play in the NFL, right? Like, a lot of 11-year-olds say they want to play in the NFL. But what did he do? What is he doing every day to get in the NFL, right? Because right now, there's some 11-year-old out there that's doing something, and if you're doing nothing, the chances are the other kid's got a better chance to get there. And it's the same thing for anything. You want to be a videographer like my man Bubba, pick up a camera, start recording things. If you want to be a video game player, then you need to buy that computer so you can record yourself playing those video games, right? You got to make some sacrifices in the early part to get where you want to go. Make no mistake about it. And it doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, or 50 years old. If you have a goal, what are you doing today to get it? Let's get it. Like you said, you want to be in the NFL, right? How are you going to get there? I'm just saying, right? So that's what you got to do. I mean, that's the same thing for this. Like, I'll tell you a true story. When I was 11 years old, I don't have the picture with me, but I found a picture from 1998. You're 11 years old. That means in 1998, you weren't even alive yet. 1998, I didn't have a Porsche. I didn't have anything. I had a t-shirt that said Porsche, right? I found a picture of me wearing that t-shirt. Like, I tell people all the time that, like, you gotta set a really big goal, a goal that, like, seems unreachable. Like, something that seems like no one will ever be able to do it. Set a goal really, really high like that, and then work every day. Just chisel away at it every day, little by little, till you reach that goal. So, like, today, yeah, I drive a Porsche, but, like, the picture of me with just a shirt, that picture means more to me than the actual car now, man. Right? Because, like, right now, if you're 11 and you put in the work that it takes to be in the NFL, like, if you do it right now, by the time you're 20 and you're actually going to the NFL, like, not only will you be like, man, I remember that one day, but, like, we'll probably be really tight homies. When I was young, I knew that I wanted certain things in life. I knew, like, I wanted to be successful. I wasn't a big guy, so I knew I wasn't going to be going to the NFL, right? I'm not tall, so I knew I wasn't going to be playing the NBA, but I'm kind of smart. I'm a good talker, right? So I took the things that I'm good at and I use them to be successful at what I do. And so now, you know, after getting the credentials and the education, I'm a lawyer, and now I have the Porsche, not just the shirt that says it, but the actual thing. Like, now it's not just a goal, it's a reality. But, like, you know, you guys come in here now and you're like, oh, I want to ride in it, but it took me like 20 years to get it, right? You got to be willing to put in 20 years. Because, like, I'm going to be in March. Don't put that in the video. I'm going to be in March, right? So, like, what? That makes me 30 years older than you, roughly. 20, 28, 29 years older than you. So you gotta be willing to put in the work, right? If you want a car like that, you gotta start putting, you gotta, like, think about it now. By the time you're 16, 18, you're gonna start doing things to get it. By the time you're like 35, maybe you'll actually have it. What you can control is, like, how much work you put into something, right? Like, you can't control how tall you're gonna be, What you can't control is how much hard work you put into something. So if you put in a lot of hard work, it raises the likelihood that you'll make it. There's no amount of hard work you can put in to raise the chances of winning the lottery. That's just something lucky.